Hello, everyone. I'm, of course, Christine Gritmon, and this is Let's Talk About Brand. I do the show every single Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time, and I usually do it from my home studio, but as you can see, I am live in person with an actual human, Ms. Angie Legg. How are you?
I can't believe it. I'm feeling good like I should, baby.
Crazy, right? It's like real people. And we're also on a green screen. It's really funny to see what it's doing with my hair.
I know, I'm blending in a little bit.
Right.
I kind of like it. It's like the newest style.
But we don't blend in. We stand out.
We
right,
stand
Angie?
out, baby.
Right, Angie Legg?
I ain't got time to blend in.
Right. So tell the good people at home who you are and what you're about. And also, if you're watching us, by the way, let us know if you're watching us on the replay or live. And also let us know if you're watching us on Facebook or on Twitter. All right, Ms. Angie Legg, go ahead. Tell the good people who you are.
What's good, beautiful people? It's your girl, Angie Legg, personal brand strategist, helping you get online and get noticed. And I just help really ambitious entrepreneurs get confident about creating content. Content is king, y'all. You can't tell me nothing else. And so I really want to help inspire and empower people to just get out there, leverage your own personal brand. It's powerful. It's a powerful thing.
It really is. And empowerment is one of my favorite words. It's one of my favorite things to do. It is one of my favorite things in this whole wide world. I'm not seeing myself, so hopefully can someone please just give us a comment. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we are live, actually. So give us some love. Let us know you're out there. So Angie, today we are talking about branding with video and audio content. We are branding right now with video content. You do both with your awesome podcast, which we just recorded an episode of.
We are still live, baby.
Oh my goodness. Hello.
Right behind the scenes. And that's what it's all about. It is.
Yeah.
It's about creating as much content as possible and educating everybody on your own skills and creating, we just finished, like Christine said, my podcast back to back with hers, and I'm doing a behind the scenes with mine. I'm deciding to take advantage of the situation and showcase what it's like to, see the chaos behind the scenes before you go live sometimes, which is sometimes the realness for people.
I'm sitting here with my phone because usually I swap to the guest while I'm like trying to pin my posts and stuff. But no, we're just right here. We're just doing it.
Super authentic, you guys. And that's what it's all about. And I think people will appreciate that. I think there's something about that lets people know, it's okay we were talking about evolving and change.
Yeah.
So just do it. Don't let imperfection stop you. Progress over perfection.
Yes. Now, to that end, a lot of people feel intimidated about creating content, creating video content especially, but also audio content.
Yeah.
In fact, on my chat this week, Chat About Brand on Tuesday, I always have people ask questions for my guests.
Okay.
And I usually don't bring them into the show this early, but I'm going to because two very similar ones. Dave wants to know, did you struggle at first with putting yourself out there on video? If so, how did you overcome it? Also, how do you deal with the criticism, both external and internal, that comes along with it? Very similarly, Takunda asked, how do you handle the negativity that comes with putting yourself out there? Because social media is brutal at times. So let's just flat up, if you're putting content out there, you're putting yourself out there, right?
I listen, the more haters, the better, okay? It means that you're doing something right. I promise you, and I know it sounds completely backwards, but when people are criticizing you, it means that they're looking at you. They're inspecting you. They're inspecting your work. They're looking for something wrong purposely. Nobody's perfect. Nobody. There is always something to be found wrong. And if they're doing that, that means they're paying attention. That means they're giving you engagement. And that's the name of the game. I don't care. You trolls all you want on my post. That is engagement. Embrace it. But you do have to find that confidence. And that's a personal development thing. And getting in front of the video, that just takes practice. I started going live. That's how I became comfortable in front of the video with just my computer, and that's it. Practice. It doesn't come naturally for a lot of people. Not even the confident people that, started out.
We started somewhere.
Exactly. And we've only gotten better, and we're only going to keep getting better. Who we are today is not going to be who we are tomorrow. So definitely, it just takes time and practice if you're trying to get out there.
So how do you suggest people start? Like, let's say you're working with someone who said, okay, I'm finally ready to step into that spotlight. I'm ready to put things out there. But, they're not quite ready. So let's handle video first, because I feel like it's an easier thing to tackle, and then we'll get to audio. But how do you get them started? How do you give them the confidence? And how do you let them know even what to start with? Because there's so many ways to do video.
I mean, COVID got us started.
Whew.
You know what I mean? There's no excuses.
No.
Anytime someone says, I'm afraid of video, I go, have you been on a Zoom call? And they will 99% of the time say yes. And at that very moment, I say, you are not afraid to be in front of video. You are uncomfortable being in front of video. Mm-hmm. And those are two completely different things.
They really are.
You know? And so it's a matter of, I don't know.
I like what you said about how live video was a great start for you, because you don't have to worry about editing. You don't have to worry about takes. You're just doing it. If you can talk to a live human.
And just finding what it is that you like to talk about. Mm-hmm. Because when I started, I was doing two things. I went live on Fridays doing a trivia every Friday. And then I went live on Wednesdays doing what was called Confidence and Cocktails, where I just sit down with you on a happy hour and we talk about, personal development.
Where's my cocktail?
What's in this cup?
Water.
Y'all don't know. Not mine, honey.
We could go to lunch after this.
But it's all about, and so I did those two different lives. I got used to it. I saw what my audience was liking and not liking and engaging with. And then fast forward to a year later, where we are now. The Be Influential podcast is a combination of both those things.
Yep.
So I've kind of evolved and taken what I've learned. So I think a lot of people are afraid to experiment. Mm-hmm. I would absolutely experiment. You don't have to plan out everything perfectly. You need to figure out where you fit. And then you need to figure out what your audience even likes.
Yes, and how can you find that out if you don't give them something to react to?
Right. You have to put it out there, and you have to try.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when it comes to video, yes, do it. Go there.
As much as you can.
But how can you ensure that your video is helping to build your brand?
You have to provide value. That's what it's all about, providing value. And so the number one category for podcasting and videos is actually comedy.
Interesting.
It is comedy, so which means that entertainment should be a very big part of creating your content. And I think when we see TikTok, Reels, things like that, getting into the entertainment, and you don't have to be like, dun, dun, dun.
You don't have to dance, you don't have to point.
But there are little tricks that influencers do. Like, I've just began talking to my audience as if they're sitting right in front of me. So sometimes I'll set up my camera and then I'll walk into the space. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh, didn't see you there.
Yeah. Or, hey, y'all, it's Angie, da, 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 da. So, it's about creating something that is almost real, like you're there. Yes. Creating content that feels like you're actually there, that your audience is paying attention to, but value, entertainment, and I think a lot of people think good quality, and I don't think that's necessarily true. Mm-hmm. I think people will absolutely listen to you on your cell phone, on your computer.
I forgot to bring my microphone with me today, so you're just hearing me through my computer. So hopefully you are actually hearing us. I believe you are. I just looked at the comments real quick just to make sure.
What's going on, y'all? And it is. And what's one of the most powerful things about creating video content is, one of the things that helped my brand, a little motorcycle, is teaming up with people.
It helped rev up your brand.
You know what I mean? The timing of that is so on brand.
Revved it up.
It's so ambitious feeling. But the best part about, creating content is creating content with people. Mm. And we are live here at the Downtime TV Productions here in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And they have helped me so much with streaming my content and putting it out there on different platforms. So sometimes don't do it alone. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, don't create content alone, because the energy feeds off of other people.
Does. That's why I love doing an interview show. I've been doing interview shows. Let's talk about brand specifically. It started last September. But before that, I started social in April of 2017. because I love hearing people's stories. I could talk to you all day long about what I think, but I love hearing from other people because there is always an insight. And we were talking before about how if someone else is in your space, you don't have competition because they're not you. So I love bringing in other individuals to hear what value they bring to the table. And video is such a great way to do that.
It's all about collaboration. And we were talking about this in our last episode. You know, we are both personal branders. And here we are sitting next to each other, vibing. You know, we don't feel any competition. We only feel like we are helping each other succeed. So don't think that the other people in your industry are your competition. You know, they are even people who go after your exact clientele could be an ally.
Yes.
So really consider that when you're creating your content. Don't be afraid to create alongside of professionals.
And one thing that I definitely am eager to learn a little bit more about from you, because this is something that is not really in my wheelhouse very much, is audio content. And I feel like audio content used to just mean podcasts a couple years ago, and it still does. Podcasts are still such a thing. But the fact is, it means so much more now. So can you talk to us a little bit about not only how to produce audio content, what kind of audio content you can do, but also specifically how to get your brand across. Because if I'm in your ear, you're not seeing all the red, you're not seeing my face. I have to find other ways to communicate who I am. So talk to us a little bit about branding with audio.
I mean, look at Howard Stern.
Oh my God.
Look at Wendy Williams. Look at Steve Harvey. All of these people branded themselves with audio. You know, the radio, we didn't even get to see these people really for years. We had to, and, you know, it's about, when it comes to audio, if we're really talking about strategy, it's about inflection. It's about using your voice, ups and downs. Now, I'm a classically trained opera singer, so you don't have to be, okay? But what that's helped me understand is that I almost sing my words.
And your voice sits in different places. I sang too, so your voice sits with different types of resonance, and sometimes it's down here and sometimes it's on the top of your palate.
Yes, but it's never monotone. And when you are doing strictly audio, it is so essential to move your voice in the right way, because that is the only medium that these people have. And if you're just monotone and you're talking like this the whole entire time, eventually your audience is going to tune out. But when you have inflection and you have passion behind what you're talking about, it's a completely different vibe. So the way that you move your voice in audio will really set the tone for your brand. And you can comedians are great with that because they just come off the rip, you know? And again, that's entertainment, but even news. News people have a branded voice. You're listening to, the influential news, and today, that is branding of the voice. So definitely consider that when you're trying to create audio. The other thing too is, while you're creating audio, create the video at the same time. You might as well. So you can take the audio from your video and transfer it to the podcast, to Apple, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, whatever it is. So don't just take advantage of the audio, even if you're afraid right now, and you only want to put out the audio, take the video too as backup. One day you'll thank me.
Absolutely. Oh, I love this. Now, what are some ways that people can put things out there in audio?
So many. So some of the free platforms that I really, really love are SoundCloud. SoundCloud was one of the very first up and coming platforms for artists to really release their music and be supported. So SoundCloud is great, whether it's a podcast or whether you're creating music, it's a great space. There are so many platforms, podcast platforms. I don't use it, but I know what's really popular is Anchor. Have you ever heard of Anchor?
Yep, I've been a guest on many Anchor.
And so Anchors, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know a lot of people use it. And it's a great platform that allows you to do so many things other than just launch your podcast. There's tools that you can use to help make your podcast better. So, when you're kind of lost, you're not an editor and things like that, a producer, Anchor kind of provides you some of that extra support. that doing it alone, can't give you. And then obviously, you want to be on YouTube, even if you just launch uh, a visual, not even of yourself, but just a visual attached to your podcast, to the audio. It's the largest search engine. It's the second largest search engine, owned by the
People
largest
will
search
press
engine.
play anyway if the content is there.
It's good. We're on the phone. I mean, we're in our cars. We're driving. We're in the commute. That's all it takes.
It is.
It's super simple. So every platform that you can, but start with the free ones. I don't know how many platforms. There's not a lot of ones that I think that you have to have a subscription for. But before there are some like iHeartRadio. Okay, you can upload podcasts to iHeartRadio, and there you need a minimum of 10 episodes.
Oh, interesting.
So there are some platforms that require some serious dedication and commitment, but outside of that, you need the consistency anyways. But go ahead and, start on those free platforms. Apple iTunes obviously is imperative, and you can start right then and there. But, make sure that you're unique. Make sure you don't have the same name as somebody already. It's not illegal, but it definitely stops you from standing out.
Yeah.
So podcasting is becoming overwhelmingly popular. It's not too saturated, but everybody has a podcast today. So you really have to stand out.
Can we talk a little bit about audio social? So now I feel like it's more recent. A few years ago, Twitter launched audio tweets, which I don't personally use, but I know some people who have done pretty well with audio tweets. Now, of course, we had, in the past year, Clubhouse hit it so big, and now Twitter Spaces is trying to take a piece of that pie. There's rumors that Facebook is developing some sort of audio thing, which I personally think they'll dump into Instagram, not into Facebook, but you never know. LinkedIn now has some audio first stuff. So let's talk about that and where you see that sitting in a content strategy.
I mean, Clubhouse proved how powerful audio was. They innovated how we can communicate through audio. All it is three-way calling on steroids, honestly.
It's a party line.
But they did it in a social way, and I respect that. The problem is that they were going to get chewed up. We knew this. Like, Instagram incorporated Reels, which is what TikTok is. They're going to incorporate audio. Like you said, Twitter, LinkedIn, they're all incorporating audio. So where does that leave platforms like Clubhouse? Is that even strong enough where most of your audience is on these other platforms? Even if you've grown a nice audience on Clubhouse, they don't make it, neither does your audience, neither do all those contacts that you made. So, audio platforms, as far as that, I mean, that's really truest audio platform. I don't know another social media that does that.
It kind of feels to me like, in terms of how these things fit together. So Clubhouse, I feel like, is people who are looking specifically for audio content, much like Periscope and Meerkat and things like that, which notably, they're not around anymore, right? But in theory, people would hop on Periscope and just kind of see what there was to see. And I feel like people are hopping on Clubhouse and just kind of seeing what there is to hear, as opposed to the audio feature in places like Twitter or in the future Instagram and LinkedIn and all of that. So it sounds like what you're saying is you don't feel there is necessarily a future, as strong a future, for just the type first.
Right. Just audio. It's we have too many options, and when you single out yourself like that, it's cool for a minute. And then again, they didn't invite Android.
Yeah.
That's
a huge miss.
It was cool at first, but they should have launched it much earlier, and it's just a shame. So I personally am not investing a whole lot of time in Clubhouse, but to each their own.
If someone were to use either something like Clubhouse or Twitter Spaces or the audio feature of an existing platform, how do you think would probably be the best way to utilize that?
So you can maximize it by creating authentic relationships. These are platforms where you can meet people you've never been able to meet before. This is where it's about the connection, because when you can vibe with somebody by just their voice, because life is energy.
Yeah.
And our voice is a wavelength. And when you can align with that, it is so powerful. And I think that's why Clubhouse has become so powerful. There's no glitz, there's no glam, there's no Instagram models, there's nobody trying to show up than just their voice. And so I just think that is so super powerful. So I would definitely say it's all about the connections that you can create while you're on these platforms. And obviously, the flexibility is amazing. You could be in the kitchen cooking on mute and still be part of the conversation. It's so time efficient. And that's what we need in today's world. But Clubhouse needs to step it up.
And I like what you said also about taking those relationships and building on those relationships. What I tell people who are doing a lot of Clubhouse is that they need to find ways to move those connections off platform. I mean, keep them on Clubhouse too, deepen things there, but make sure that, you're also connecting with them on Twitter, on LinkedIn, via email, any way you can. You want to deepen those connections. But I like what you said about how there really is a deep sensory connection. When someone is stimulating your senses, their voice is in your ear. That's so powerful.
It is so powerful. It's such a real energy, and that's why it's so popular. You can't fake it. And that goes back to the inflection and, creating a mood with your voice. And that's, people get paid a lot of money to talk.
They do.
Like it's a gift. It's something that you have to learn, and it's a skill. It's a skill more than a gift. It's a skill. And anybody can get better at it,
Yeah. And even listening to others is a great way to get better at it.
100%.
Got another question from Tuesday's Twitter chat here. Michaela wants to know, what are some of the challenges that come with finding/defining the best branding or content strategy? And how do you recommend navigating or overcoming those struggles? So when someone's trying to figure out their branding strategy and the content they're going to use to convey that brand, what's a good place to start there?
Again, we're going right back to value. I think a lot of people create content for themselves, and I'm guilty. It's a lot of content like, I experienced this, I experienced that, and there's nothing wrong with the behind the scenes type of content, but most of your content needs to be how to help your client and really identify their pain points. So, you can take your story that happened to yourself and make it about them.
Yeah.
And so, for instance, this week I had a lot of women call me this week, stating that they're lost. These are strong, durable, ambitious women.
Who's not lost right now? Yeah.
And I was just like, it's so funny how so I was talking about it, I was vlogging about it, and I began with, this happened to me. And I was just like, no, I was just like, let's put it in a different perspective. Do you feel lost? Do you feel like you're not pursuing your dreams? Well, this is the information that I helped other women with this week. Instead of saying, I had this conversation and this is how I experienced it. I talk to people like they're asking me.
They can see themselves in your story.
100%. That's so important in creating the content. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm getting better and better. And 100%, it's all about just making them feel like they're there with you, and it just creates so much authenticity. And that's value. Value. That's always the answer for content outside of entertainment.
I love that, because when you make people feel seen and feel heard, that's what everyone wants. That is the number one gift that you can give a fellow human being, letting them feel seen and heard.
Absolutely. I love it, Michaela. I love it. She's on her way up.
Yes. So speaking of being seen and heard, where can people see and hear you, my friend Angie Legg?
Holla. It's your girl, Angie Legg, your personal brand bestie, and you can find me everywhere at I Am Angie Legg. You can go to my website. You can check out IamAngieLegg.com and go to my digital business card, where you can follow me everywhere. So definitely come check me out. I would love to hear from you.
Those digital business cards are very cool and very now, I have to say. Like, I am used to having a stack of business cards with me at all times, and I realized the other day when I needed one, I'm like, I have not been carrying them around for a year now.
It's over.
You know?
I stopped handing mine out.
I still like mine. I still like having something physical,
Yes.
but I feel like that's me. Like, if someone doesn't have a physical one, as long as they have some way that I can contact them, I'm good.
And we're in transition,
Yes.
you know, like everything is starting to go digital, and it took us a
Mhm.
while for books to go digital.
Yeah.
Now everybody has a Kindle or something like that, you know. So this is part of the progression. It's the same thing, but eventually we're all going to be digital. We're all going to have digital cards, and this is, you know, I'm just excited to be at the forefront and to have met people who are exposing me to these technologies. So.
Yeah.
It's important to just stay relevant, and that's a huge part of branding. This digital card just takes you to all of my socials, everything that I could, and it's just such a powerful branding tool when, yes, you don't, like, actually, Mike told me a story. He has one. He was on set shooting a music video. He hadn't gotten his business cards in yet for the team, and they were like, do you have a business card? And he was just like, oh, no. He was like, oh, wait. Boop. Boom, you know, he pulled it up. It's a URL website, and they were able to scan it and get in contact. So, you know, sometimes it's just the thing that saves your little hiney.
And I like the QR code thing. I have used that. So I just got my digital business card from you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
But even last year when I was going to Social Media Marketing World, and I think the year before also, I have a Connect With Me page on my website, gritmon.com/connect.
Yep.
And so I just made a QR code. You can make them so easily. I just made a QR code and printed out a sticker of it. Actually, my wonderful friend George DeBanis printed out a sticker of it for me because it had to be red, you know.
Yeah.
I stuck it on my badge. I encouraged people to just
scan it.
Could not be easier. Such an easy way to connect.
It's so fun. And honestly, I plan on putting it on merchandise. You know what I mean? Because that's what people
Very
are
smart.
doing. You know, we see it in restaurants. We see
Heard
it
it
on
here
Amazon.
first.
100%. No,
love
and
that.
I'm not even the first. There are people out there. The power, you just have to be ready to be different and unique. You know, just because nobody's doing it doesn't mean it shouldn't be done.
I love that. That is a beautiful place for us to wrap this up. Thank you so much,
Perfect.
Angie. You're amazing.
Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
Again, I'm Christine. I do this show, Let's Talk About Brand, every single Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. But I also have a Twitter chat on Tuesdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. The Twitter chat and the live show are always on the same topic. And so next week, coming up, the Tuesday Twitter chat on May 4th is going to be about brands that give back, where a huge part of their brand value is about having that give back built in, not having it be an offshoot or having it be kind of a side thought. And the person who's going to be talking to us about that next Friday is Tristan Griffiths. His agency Nomad 9 has a give back built in as part of their brand DNA. So he's going to talk about brands that give back, how to make it not seem gimmicky, how to make it align with your brand values. So I hope you join us for the Twitter chat on Tuesday and then for the live show right here next Friday. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye.